So from predicting the whole table yesterday, the video's dodged off here, it is now time for my weekly score predictions for the Championship. We've made it to matchday 34. As every game goes on, each game becomes more important for different reasons, from promotion to relegation. I am so excited to predict this weekend's fixtures. If anyone's too unfamiliar for how this series works, I'll quickly explain how it works. I leave this weekend's games in the description down below, so you can pause the video and you can comment as many score predictions as you like. And if you get one correct prediction correctly, your comment will be included in my review video, which is released on a Monday. And whoever gets the most correct predictions will have their channel shout out on the eye icon on the top right corner. And depending how many correct predictions you get will determine your position in the Lexus Hall of Fame as well. I've made it a little bit more of a leaderboard type of thing, so hopefully everyone here will feel very competitive. This is what the current Lexus Hall of Fame looks like. We'll see if any of the current members can overtake each other, and we'll see hopefully some new members enter to the Lexus Hall of Fame as well. But as always, if you like what you want to see more Championship content, please make sure you do give this video a like. It is tremendously appreciated. Please subscribe if you haven't done, or if you're new around here, all of that will be terrifically appreciated. And please share the channel to as many Championship fans as you can. All of that would really make my day. But without any further ado, let's start predicting this weekend's games. So let's start off with Friday's game, with Derby going up against Fulham. Both these sides having a pretty disappointing result last weekend, with Fulham being tremendously poor against Barnsley, losing 3-0, and they basically didn't enter the game at all. They barely troubled Collins in goal. Mitrovic had one opportunity and they hit the post near the end, but that was practically all the threat they had. They were heavily exposed to Barnsley, really punishing them with their long deliveries, and Rodak not having a really good game at all in goal. As with Derby, their winning streak at home ended when they drew 1-1 against Huddersfield. They were not very good in that game, but undeservedly they actually went ahead with a fantastic strike from Tom Lawrence. But then I think the justified result, Huddersfield managed to equalise from Harry Toffolo. And it'll be interesting to see if Derby can improve on that performance. Derby's home record has been good. They've not lost in their last 5 home games, winning 4 games out of 5. As with Fulham, their away record's proving to be quite good as well. They've not lost in their 5 away games, so it's going to be difficult to decipher which side is going to continue their strong run of form. In a reverse fixture, Fulham beat Derby comprehensively by 3-0, with Bobby Reid, Tom Kearney and Mitrovic scoring the 3 goals. As of this game, I think it'll be a tighter affair following how Derby have improved with the influence of Wayne Rooney coming in. And as with Fulham, I feel like they've got to respond with their really poor home defeat against Barnsley, and I think they will do that against Derby. I think we will have a game. I do have a feeling though that it will be a 1-1 draw. I think both these sides will cancel each other out and share the points, but let me know what you think in the comments. So now you have Brentford going up against Blackburn Rovers. If you remember in the reverse fixture, Blackburn were the one side that really threw a spanner into Brentford's really strong run of form, managing to beat them by 1-0 at Ewood Park. Both these sides last weekend had varying results. Brentford failed to beat Birmingham. They drew 1-1 against them. With the chances they did have, they probably did deserve to go out on top, but they weren't as fluid as I've seen Brentford all of this season. As with Blackburn, they got a 2-0 away victory against Charlton. They don't like to dominate games, Blackburn, but when they go forward, they are so ruthless and so clinical, and Brentford will need to be careful. However, with Brentford having the best defence out of the whole league, it could really trouble Blackburn, because they're not going to have many chances, especially with Brentford. They're going to want to have the ball for the majority of the time. And if BMW are on form, Brentford can beat any team. In terms of their form, Brentford have not lost in their last 4 games, so they're in a pretty steady run of form at the moment. The problem with Blackburn this season, I've previously mentioned, is how little they score goals. As I say, they don't have many chances in each game and they don't like to dominate games. Bradley Dack and Adam Armstrong are their top scorers with 9 goals each. And if you compare Brentford's top 3 goal scorers, Said Benrahma, their 3rd top goal scorer, he's got the same amount of goals as Bradley Dack and Adam Armstrong, with Mbumio getting 12 and Watkins getting 20. So clearly there's more goals in this Brentford side, and I think that is ultimately what's going to show in this game. I think Brentford will win by 2-1. I think it'll be quite a close game. I don't think Blackburn are going to make it easy for Brentford following their strong run of form, but I think Brentford will keep their calm, and I think they'll have enough opportunities to break through. So I'm going to say a 2-1 home victory to Brentford. So now I get to the 3 o'clock. Probably the most important 3 o'clock game this weekend is Bristol City going up against West Bromwich Albion. In the reverse fixture, West Brom beat Bristol City quite comprehensively, beating them by 4-1, even though the scoreline says that West Brom got the game. It doesn't really reflect on the performance because Bristol City in that second half of that game I thought were quite good and probably should have taken more of their chances to bring a closer game to West Brom. So if you look at Bristol City's last 6 home games, they alternate between a win and a loss. And following their last home game was a win. If the pattern continues, they are almost destined to lose in this game. West Brom are getting a little bit more confidence away from home again, winning 2 away games in a row. And they're undefeated, West Brom, in their last 10 away matches. So it's going to be very difficult for Bristol City to try and break this West Brom side. I mentioned this in my predictions video. For me, West Brom have got the most complete squad. They can change their style of play so easily. And for that reason alone, that's why I think West Brom are going to have a really strong end to the season. And as of this game, I think it will be tight. I don't think Bristol City will make it easy. I think Nahki Wells will be a continuous threat. Whether Lee Johnson decides to change it, probably put 2 up front. Maybe that'll be a better option to put West Brom's defence under pressure a little bit more. But for me, I think West Brom will prevail with a 2-1 away victory. But I'm really interested to see the outcome of this game. If Bristol City can win this game, they could really solidify their place in the top 6 for me. We've got a very important game, but this time at the other end of the table with a relegation battle looming. We've got Charlton going up against Luton Town. Must-win game for both of these sides for me if they want to have any chance of survival. Charlton has a poor home defeat against Blackburn Rovers, although they did have a positive performance. I thought they had quite a lot of chances against Blackburn. And in terms of chances, I thought they were the better side. Blackburn were just a lot more clinical, and when they had their chances, Charlton did not defend them very well. As with Luton, they've won 2 games in a row. It's the first time they've secured back-to-back wins all season. If they win this game, which is crazy to know that they've only won 2 away games all season, they would have 3 wins in a row. This would be the revival of Luton Town that we were all expecting to see. Having said that, I'm not confident. As I say, Luton barely win away from home. And actually, the last time these sides played each other at the Valley, it was when Charlton broke Luton's incredible winning streak in League One and they won the title last year. They managed to beat Luton comprehensively by 3-1. It was a dramatic game, Luton going down to 10 men in that game. And I think a similar fate will happen. I think Charlton, they'll know deep down that they need to win this game in the Valley as well. They know that they were underperforming against Blackburn, but they have been promising moments in that game. I think their frustration will allow them to score the goals. And even though Luton did manage to get a good away win against Middlesbrough, I felt that the fact that they did not win comprehensively following their positive performance, I don't think they're going to score enough goals to trouble Charlton. For me, I think it's going to be a repeat of last year, and I think Charlton will win by 3-1. But I think it'll be a very feisty game. Both sides will be really wanting this win. So next up, we've got Birmingham going up against Sheffield Wednesday. Birmingham are in a pretty strong run of form at the moment. They have been drawing at half-time and winning at full-time in their last 3 home matches. So this could be a very similar situation for what we can see in this game. Birmingham are also undefeated in their last 7 matches as well, which I was really surprised with following how poor they were in around December time. They were plummeting down the table, but fair play to Pep Clotaire. Since bringing Scott Hogan in, Birmingham have managed to go at a different style of play, and they've thrown teams off for it. As for Sheffield Wednesday, they could only wish they're in that same situation because Sheffield Wednesday have failed to win in their last 6 championship matches. So they're very low on confidence at the moment. They're joint on points as well for the first time this season as well. If Birmingham can get a good result, Birmingham can overtake Sheffield Wednesday for the first time, which, considering the juxtaposition of these 2 sides in around November, December time, that's actually quite extraordinary. Birmingham also have a pretty strong record against Sheffield Wednesday as well. In their last 6 meetings, they've won 3 out of their last 6. Considering that first match fact that I said, I think it'll be close at half-time. I think it'll be drawing, but I do think Birmingham will find a way to punch through them in the second half. Maybe some link-up play with Scott Hogan. I'm going to say that Birmingham are going to win pretty comfortably by 2-0, but I could be wrong on this one. I originally thought it was going to be a very low scoring draw, but I'm thinking I might just edge Birmingham following that good run of form. So I'll say 2-0 Birmingham. So now we've got Leeds going up against Reading. Both of these sides winning last week. Leeds gained a very important, I think, a very key win against Bristol City, winning by 1-0 with Luke Ayling managing to score against his former club. They had countless chances in that game. They should have wrapped the game up, but obviously it's been the story of their season with their missed chances. As with Reading, they managed to get a 3-0 away victory against Sheffield Wednesday. It was a terrific performance. Ejaria pulling the strings again. Yaku Mate, I thought, was great as well in that game. In the reverse fixture, it was a very tight affair. I remember watching the game live. It wasn't the most entertaining game that I have to admit, but it was very cagey, and Leeds narrowly got a 1-0 away win out of it, and I think it'll be a very similar trait going on into this game. Leeds have only lost 3 home games this season, but in their last 3 home games, 2 of those home games have been defeat. So all of a sudden Leeds have had a little bit of a collapse at home, but I think winning at Ellen Road against Bristol City might be the turning point that they need. As with Reading, they've not lost in their last 3 away games actually, so they're picking up some decent form away from home as well, so I don't think it'll be easy. I think it'll be tight. I think Mark Bowen will have his side drilled like I saw when they played against Sheffield Wednesday. They'll soak up the pressure well and hit them on the break. But I do think that Leeds are going to have enough opportunities to win. And you never know with Leeds, you'll likely see them waste some opportunities, but when they get one opportunity in, they tend to be rampant. I think back to their 4-0 victory against Middlesbrough when they took one early chance well, and they were completely dominant the whole game. I don't think it'll be like that. I think they'll take one chance. I think Leeds will win by 1-0. I think it'll be a repeat of a reverse fixture, and it will be a very tight game. So now we've got Nottingham Forest going up against Queen's Park Rangers. I expected to see a few goals in this game. There have been 19 goals in their last 6 meetings against each other, averaging with just over 3 goals a game. So we should see a cracker going on in this game, and I think we'll see that, and both sides really have got something to play for. Nottingham Forest, they need to solidify their places in the playoffs. Following getting a clutch away point against West Brom, they didn't necessarily deserve it, although based on referee decisions, I think the point was justified, but based on performances, they did not deserve that point. But Matty Cash being an absolute hero, managing to score a really good volley from inside the penalty box, making it 2-2. As with Queen's Park Rangers, they had a terrific home victory against Stoke City, with Hugo, Chair, Bright Samuel, all doing very, very well for Queen's Park Rangers. Another reason why I think there'll be goals in this game, because I'm still not convinced with Queen's Park Rangers defensively. They conceded 2 very silly goals against Stoke City. They did well to turn it around, but the fact they still conceded those 2 goals as well, it shows that they're still not fixed defensively. Their mindset is, let's see which team can score the most. And in that circumstance, they did win against Stoke, but I think with Nottingham Forest, it's going to be tougher. Nottingham Forest previously had a fantastic run of form at home, but they lost their recent home game against Charlton. It was a little bit of a shot of a dark performance. It was midweek as well, so it was a little bit of a surprise. And as with Queen's Park Rangers, their away form is not great. They've not won in their last 6 away matches either, so I'm not confident that Queen's Park Rangers are going to get anything from this game. For me, as I said, I think there'll be goals in this game. I'm going to say Nottingham Forest are going to win by 3-2. I think it'll be a very end-to-end game. Maybe Queen's Park Rangers taking the lead at some stage, but I think Nottingham Forest will pull it back and win the game. So I think it'll be a 3-2 home victory to Nottingham Forest. So now we've got Preston North End going up against Hull City. Preston fans will be hoping that the reverse fixture is not a repeat. Hull City blew Preston away, beating them by 4-0. Grzycki and Bowen having an absolute masterclass in this game, but newsflash for you, they're both gone. So Preston fans could feel a little bit more relaxed going into this game. And what's shocking here, Hull City have lost their top 2 goal scorers. The next top goal scorer is Tommy's with 5 goals. I'm no expert here, but if your top goal scorer is now someone with 5 goals, it's not an ideal situation, let me tell you the truth. As with Preston, they've only lost 4 home games all season, but in their last 5 home games, 3 of those games have been defeats. So recently, they've had a little bit of a collapse at home, which has been a little bit surprising to me. As of Hull, they've not won in their last 3 away games either. And they've already played against each other twice, these 2 sides. The first game being in the Carabao Cup, where Preston managed to advance on penalties. It was a very dramatic game. And obviously, their recent encounter being a 4-0 home victory to Hull. But I think it will change a little bit. But following Preston's collapse at home, I actually don't think they'll win. And following the other sides in the top 6 being inconsistent, dropping points, I think it will be Preston once again that will drop the points this weekend. I'm going to say it'll be a 2-2 draw. I'm going to say it's a very tight game. I think Hull would be key to try and get a result following that. They've shown that they can score plenty of goals against Swansea last week. But defensively, I don't think Hull are fixed quite yet. So I'll say 2-2. Let me know what you think in the comments, by the way. So now we've got Stoke City going up against Cardiff. As with Stoke, they've had a pretty good home form, although their most recent home game was a home defeat against Preston. Although, if you consider the chances they had, they probably should have deserved something from the game. As with Cardiff, they're drawing so many games, but they're undefeated in 7 games, Cardiff, actually. So they're doing pretty well in terms of run of form. They are currently 9th in the table, so a win this weekend could be very beneficial for Cardiff's playoff chances. Cardiff drawing so many games, 14 games out of 33 have been draws. I don't think Cardiff are going to be tight enough to try and contain Stoke, because at home, Stoke will be key to try and win survival. I think they'll go all guns blazing at Cardiff. And at times, Cardiff can switch off at set-piece situations. So for me, I think Stoke will punish Cardiff, but I do think Cardiff do have it within them to try and get a result. I've seen that recently when they beat Huddersfield by 3-0. It was a terrific performance by Cardiff. I think we'll see a similar situation, but not necessarily a win. So considering that Cardiff are the king of draws, I'm going to say another one. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw between the sides, but I don't think it will do either of these sides any favours. And next up, we've got Swansea going up against Huddersfield. I'm anticipating that this game is going to be very feisty. In fact, in their last 6 meetings against each other, there have been 4 red cards in this game. So I'm really excited to see if this is going to have the same situation. Obviously, there was a red card in their reverse fixture where Huddersfield narrowly managed to hold on for a draw. It was a 1-1 draw in the end. Swansea at the moment are struggling a little bit. They've not won in their last 5 games. Steve Cooper will need to fix what's going on. Obviously, they were involved in Hull's very entertaining 4-4 draw last week. And I felt like with the chances with Rhian Brewster managing to put Swansea ahead, they should have held on. The fact they allowed Tom East to do what he does and score a late equaliser, for the amount of space he had in, their defence was completely all over the place. So they need to try and address that when they play against Huddersfield. Because Huddersfield have shown they've got something about them away from home. They can punish you. They've got an away point against a very informed Derby side. You know, I've got a bit of an instinct with Swansea really struggling. I think Huddersfield may capitalise on that. Because I think Huddersfield's performances have been good, but they've not been necessarily getting the points they deserve. And I think this will be one of those games where that's justified. I'm going to say Huddersfield get a 2-1 away victory. This is going to be my one shock this weekend. I can definitely see that happening, and it'll definitely help Huddersfield's chances of survival, but it'll really dampen Swansea's chances in trying to enter the playoffs. I'll say 2-1 Huddersfield, but I'm not very confident. Let me know what you think. So our penultimate game this weekend is Wigan going up against Millwall. A must-win game for Wigan for me, in my opinion. If Wigan want to have any chance of survival, they need to fix their home form as soon as they can. They've not won their last 2 home games, and Wigan have shown they've got good performances at home, but they need to justify that and to get maximum of 3 points and to stop dropping points from losing positions. It's been a really bad habit of Wigan all season. As with Millwall, their performances have been relatively consistent since Gary Rowett's come in anyway. There's not been a moment where I think they've been in really poor run of form since Gary Rowett's come in, and when they've had the odd bad game now and then, Gary Rowett has managed to get his side to turn their form around. So I'm really impressed of how much of an impact Gary Rowett has managed to get on this Millwall squad. They've not lost in their last 2 games either. There have been quite a few goals scored between these 2 sides in recent years, but I think in this game it will be more cagey. I think Millwall away from home are not as free-flowing and not as threatening going forward. But as with Wigan, I think they will have their chances, but I do think they will be a little bit low in confidence. Their last home game was a very poor home defeat against Preston, where yes, they did have chances, but they were left very exposed defensively. I think they will try and fix that. So I'm not anticipating a load of goals in this game. I was tempted to go over draw and say 0-0, but I do think Millwall being slightly better in quality for me at the moment with the better management, better game management. I'm going to say Millwall sneak a win in there. I'm going to say a 1-0 away victory to Millwall, but it could be a result that goes either way for me. I'll say 1-0 Millwall, but who knows what could happen this weekend. Let me know what you think. And for our final game this weekend, we've got Barnsley going up against Middlesbrough. If you look at their head-to-head, Middlesbrough have got a fantastic record against Barnsley, winning 5 meetings out of their last 6 encounters against each other. But I would have ruled Barnsley out of it. If they play like they did against Fulham last weekend, Middlesbrough have got to be every right to be nervous. And I thought Middlesbrough were really poor against Luton last weekend, losing at home to a side that were really struggling away from home. Jonathan Woodgate is under pressure from the fans. They deemed that performance against Luton Town to be unacceptable. Jonathan Woodgate tried to fix it, putting 4 strikers up top, but it wasn't a great tactic. It was too central. It wasn't enough going forward in terms of the wings, and Luton were very disciplined. They're very well structured with that tactic. But it'll be a very typical Championship games with the teams who have a reversal of fortunes this week, with Barnsley losing, Middlesbrough winning. But I don't quite see that. I do think both of these sides will have something about them going forward. They've got something to play for. I think Middlesbrough still need to try and win to get survival. And Barnsley, this is essential. This is essential that they win this game to try and survive. But I don't think both of these sides will win. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. I think it'll be very end-to-end, I think it'll be quite entertaining to watch. You could say it might be bold following Middlesbrough's fantastic head-to-head against Barnsley, but I think Barnsley will stop Middlesbrough at their check, because Middlesbrough are not on full strength, and I think Barnsley have improved a little bit. But having said that, with their two current playing styles at the moment, I think they'll cancel each other out. I'll say a 1-1 draw, but it could be a result that goes either way. But these are my predictions for matchday 34 of the Championship. On your left right now is what the Championship table would look like if all of my predictions came true, as if they could all come true. But who knows, maybe they might all come true. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments down below. But I think that wraps it up for today's video. I'm really excited this weekend for Championship football. Every game now is going to fill with more excitement, as there's more to play for in these games. If you guys liked what you see, please do give this video a like. It's massively appreciated. Please share the channel to as many football fans and Championship football fans as you can. It will be tremendously appreciated. And please subscribe if you haven't done, or if you're new around here. That'll be tremendously appreciated. 66% of the viewers in this video are not subscribed at the moment, so if we could try and know that percentage down, I'll feel very much appreciated. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you saw the end of this video. And as always, take care.